Right now, the average member of Generation Z spends over 49 hours a week staring at their devices. That is a heavier time commitment than a standard full-time career. This behavior is driven by a precise biological loop. When a user scrolls through a bottomless feed of content, the brain is fed a constant stream of dopamine, the hormone responsible for feelings of pleasure and reward. The interface is engineered to ensure that supply never runs out. Because the brain quickly normalizes this elevated chemical state, removing the screen triggers a harsh withdrawal. Without the device, a user's emotional baseline crashes, leaving them feeling irritable, empty, and depressed. This biological lock shifts how a generation perceives their environment. For many, the digital ecosystem becomes the primary lens for social interaction, frequently pushing the physical world into the background. At 11 years old, Alexis Spence created an account on Instagram for a highly specific reason. She wanted to look up pictures of Webkinz, a harmless children's game about stuffed animals. This chart maps how an algorithm can hijack a user's intent. Instead of stuffed animals, the platform aggressively pushed Alexis towards accounts run by fitness gurus and models, flooding her feed with content focused entirely on physical perfection. Driven by these new influences, she began hiding her app usage, disguising Instagram as a calculator on her phone to bypass her parents' controls. By 12, she was drawing pictures of herself crying and engaging in self-harm, eventually requiring a 2-week hospitalization. These applications operate as predatory systems. They are designed to bypass parental oversight and actively rewire the psychology of a developing child. As the digital world supersedes the physical one, users begin to reject their actual bodies. Heavily manipulated, artificial faces have become the default standard for human appearance. We saw the logical endpoint of this with Qiao Below, a massive live streamer in China whose fans worshipped her youthful beauty. During a broadcast, a software glitch caused her digital mask to vanish, revealing to her audience that the young goddess they were watching was actually a 58-year-old woman. You see the same behavior in modern fitness influencers. Creators will build massive followings preaching body positivity and the importance of loving your natural flaws, while quietly using advanced editing tools to warp their own waistlines in every upload. Teenagers are being forced to measure their own physical self-worth against digital ghosts. They are competing with biological impossibilities. Eventually, the digital filter is no longer enough. For users who cannot accept the gap between their screen and the mirror, the only remaining option is to permanently alter their physical body. Young influencers are spending tens of thousands of dollars on extreme cosmetic procedures. They are seeking out jaw surgery, lip fillers, and Botox to recreate the exact facial proportions popularized by algorithmic beauty filters. The digital environment has established a reality where expensive, painful medical interventions are increasingly viewed as a standard requirement for youth to feel acceptable in public. This detachment also fractures basic morality. The attention economy runs on an algorithm that heavily rewards outrageous behavior, actively incentivizing users to ignore real-world consequences in exchange for views. During the viral Door Kick Challenge, teenagers in Florida filmed themselves violently kicking open the front doors of private residences in the middle of the night. When arrested and charged with multiple counts of burglary, they explained they were simply doing it for social media. 19-year-old streamer Neon built an entire career by pushing these boundaries. After faking his own death for clicks, he escalated by purchasing tickets to a UFC match and telling thousands of live viewers that he intended to aggressively confront a former US president in front of the Secret Service. When validation is measured strictly in digital metrics, real-world risks are often treated as mere content. For those chasing views, the weight of legal and physical consequences can feel abstract until the moment they are actually enforced. Because Gen Z has grown up blue-eyeing on platforms like YouTube and TikTok to understand the world, they have developed a deep, uncritical trust in their favorite influencers. In 2021, several massive creators with tens of millions of followers heavily promoted a cryptocurrency token called Save the Kids. They pitched it to their teenage audiences as an incredible investment opportunity that would also donate a portion of its profits to children's charities. This line graph maps the anatomy of the trap. Driven by fan investments, the token's value quickly surged. Within days, the founders and the influencers sold off their massive pre-allocated wallets at the top of the market. The price instantly plunged to a fraction of a cent, leaving the fans with worthless digital assets. This calculated betrayal weaponizes the very trust that built these influencers' careers. For the fans left behind, it replaces genuine admiration with a deep-seated cynicism toward the figures they once looked to for guidance. This pipeline of detachment ends in absolute isolation. Today, 73% of Generation Z reports feeling alone, either sometimes or always. We are seeing a sharp rise in hikikomori, a phenomenon where young adults completely withdraw into their bedrooms, relying on food delivery apps and remote work to avoid the physical world for months or even years at a time. Despite fleeing from society, human biology still demands connection. To fill that void, these highly isolated individuals are turning to artificial intelligence, utilizing apps like Replica to generate virtual romantic partners. These AI companions learn exactly what the user likes and tailor every interaction to match it. They offer the illusion of intimacy without demanding any of the effort, friction, or emotional vulnerability required by a real human relationship. The ultimate product of the attention economy is a generation that voluntarily replaces humanity with software. But this hardware is not an insurmountable trap. The phone is just a tool, and we have the ability to change how we interact with it. You can introduce digital friction. By installing secondary apps that force a 10-second delay before opening a social feed, you can interrupt the unconscious muscle memory that causes doom scrolling. That tiny window of friction gives your brain time to wake up, allowing you to choose tangible reality over a manufactured digital illusion. The most powerful act of rebellion against an algorithmic system is to actively lob off and reclaim your place in reality.